Hey everybody, Mrs. Norris here. So we're quickly moving through to the end of the school year, and around the end of the school year is when we start talking about the Civil War. Now with unit number 5, we've been talking quite a bit about the different movements that occurred in America during the 1800s. And also, we talked quite a bit about the impact of slavery, not only on the country as a whole, but on the slaves themselves and the slave families, and how hopefully through that time you can start to see the division between the North and the South. And that division is what's going to lead us into the Civil War. So there were a number of causes that led to the Civil War, but the majority of them surrounded the idea of slavery, its importance to certain groups, whereas other groups, the abolitionists, wanted it to end. And again, this is going to lead to a huge fracture in our country and the Civil War. Okay. So just to talk a little bit about our activity, I'm going to go ahead and move myself a little bit here. I'm going to go over our know, understand, and do, if you could follow along with your eyes and your brain. So with this activity today, I want you to be able to understand, why was there a civil war? What were the events, the major happenings going on in our country that led to this battle? Okay, these battles. I want you to understand that there were some constitutional compromises that prevented a separation of the Union in the first half of the 19th century, especially in the Missouri Compromise. But the compromises of the 1810s and 1840s didn't last. Okay, ultimately, the nation divided over the debate about the expansion of slavery into newly created Western territories and states, especially after the Mexican-American War and the discovery of gold in California. The Wilmot Proviso, the Compromise of 1850, the Nebraska Act, the Ostend Manifesto, and the Dred Scott case, the Lincoln-Douglas debates, and John Brown's raid on Harper's Ferry are all important markers of how slavery had become the key problem dividing political leaders. So you're going to be completing a HyperDoc where you are going to learn about some of these events, and some of these events, for example, John Brown's raid on Harper's Ferry, the Dred Scott case, these might be review for you because you've been completing these tasks in Unit 5 to build up to today in Unit 6. All right, so it might be a little bit of review, but that's great. Review is always good. You're going to analyze how each event contributed to the outbreak of the Civil War. So how did these particular things bring us to war eventually? Evaluate the significance of each event and determine which you think was the most important. So you're going to look at these 11 events and you're going to decide for yourself, which do you think was the breaking point that finally divided the nation, that really brought us to this place that's going to lead us into war. Okay, you're going to write an argumentative piece that supports your claim with evidence from the resources. So whatever of these 11 events you decide is the one that really broke the camel's back, so to speak, you're going to explain why you think that and use evidence from these resources in this HyperDoc to support your claim. And then you're going to publish your piece as a Common Craft video, which we'll get to in a moment. So let's overview our directions here. You're going to make a copy of the document. We'll do that in a second together. You're going to explore the resources that I've given you, so you're not doing any outside research. You're using what I've already given you. So there are images on the left-hand side. Again, we'll look at this in a moment. That's a link to a different resource. All videos, a couple of readings, okay? In the left column, you're going to take notes. Again, right now you might not understand, but we'll look at this together in a moment. And notes means 3 to 5 big ideas from each resource. Okay. And the text box will get longer as you're adding information. If it goes on to the next page, no big deal. Okay. And then in the column on the right, you're going to write at least 7 to 10 sentences. Bullet points are okay, explaining how this event helped cause the Civil War. Number 2, after researching researching each of the causes, write an argumentative piece that answers the following prompt. Which of the events you learned about had the biggest impact towards the start of the Civil War and why? And again, remember, you're supporting your claim with evidence from the resources, okay? And then you're going to use that argumentative piece to create a common craft video. So you can use Canvas Studio when you're doing this activity. I have an example of what a common craft style video is. Now, oftentimes, like if we were in class, you would do this activity with a group, but because you're at home by yourself, you might have to enlist some family or friends to help you with bringing the pictures in and out. And again, once you watch this little introduction video to what a common craft style video is, then you'll have a better understanding of what I'm talking about, okay? When you're done, you're going to submit a media recording. That's your common craft style video, okay, and a PDF of your HyperDoc. Now, just to be clear, a common craft video is not your face. You're not taking a picture. You're not filming yourself at all. With this activity, you're going to draw pictures that are going to tell a story to relate your argumentative piece from the prior task, okay? So you have down here a little handout to kind of give you an idea of what a common craft style video, how you can be successful at one. And I want you to pay attention to the fact that you are not going to be working in a team. Okay, this is something you're doing independently. So you might need to enlist friends or family to help you with rehearsing the video and moving the images. Okay, so that's something for you to review on your own when you're ready to get to that part. Okay, and again, this does pop out. I just made it big on accident, but you can pop it out to read the instructions a little bit clearer. Okay. Now let's go back up to our document. So we're going to make a copy of the document Causes of the Civil War. Think. Now, the first thing that we want to do is change, as the directions said, copy of to your first and last name. So I'm going to change copy of to my first and last name. Okay. Enter. So as you can see, we have different events that are going to eventually lead, I'm going to just make myself a little bigger here. Different events that are going to eventually lead us to the Civil War. So the Missouri Compromise, abolitionists, again, review. We've already talked about this. Nat Turner's Rebellion, this should be review for you. The Underground Railroad, many of you already think you know what that is, but some of you might be thinking it's an actual railroad, which it was not. So I want to make sure that you understand that at the very least. The Compromise of 1850, Fugitive Slave Law of 1850, Uncle Tom's Cabin, which again, for many of you is kind of a review. The Kansas-Nebraska Act, the Dred Scott decision, John Brown, and the election of 1860. So you're going to be using the videos, and again, there are a couple of readings in there, but you're going to be using these videos to help you to understand each concept a little bit more, okay? So when you're watching one of these videos or reading one of the texts, you're going to take notes in the section. So we have the title of the resource, and then you're going to take notes underneath. Now, as it says in the directions, 3 to 5 big ideas for each. So A, B, C, D, E for each of these. Okay. So after you take your notes, in the left column, in the right column, you're going to write at least 7 to 10 sentences. And again, a bullet point is okay. I'm okay with that. To explain how this event helped cause the Civil War. So after reading or watching each of these resources, evaluate why you think that would be included as an event that caused the Civil War. So you're going to do that for each of these tasks, which is why, at least in 2021, you have the entire week to complete this activity. You're going to evaluate each of these events, same steps for each event, okay? And again, it might go on the next page. That's all right. And then your final or your second to final step is your writing. So which of these events that you learned about had the biggest impact towards the start of the Civil War and why? So of the 11 events that you just learned about, again, some of which were review, which do you think was the major cause leading to the turning point that really brought the nation to this time period of division and led to the Civil War? Okay. Make sure you're using evidence from the resources. Okay. Make sure you mention the source when you are citing your evidence and include 2 pieces of evidence to support your claim. Don't use the first person. And so you're going to type that information down in here. Okay. Now, when you are done with this piece, then you will file, download as a PDF and kind of keep that on the back burner because that's what you're going to be submitting to me. One of the things that you're going to be submitting to me. Okay. So again, when you're all done with the writing portion of this, you're going to want to download it as a PDF because that's one thing that you're submitting. All right. Now, the other part is to publish using a Common Craft style video. So again, use your writing from the step prior. And it looks like I'm going to have to take out, this is not step 14, it's actually step 13. Using step 12, the writing, use that to help you sort of write a script where you are going to narrate your argument and use it to create one of these Common Craft style videos. Now, to submit this video, when you are ready and you're finished with this activity, let me see if I can get this into student view. When you are all done with the assignment, okay, when you have completed the PDF part and you're ready, you've rehearsed, you've got your drawings, you're ready to go for the Common Craft video, you're going to go back to the assignment and you're going to click Start Assignment. You've already started it, no big deal. You're going to upload that PDF, and then under the Media tab, you're going to record your video. Okay, so you're going to record your Common Craft video, and then once you've done that, you're ready to submit. So when you are submitting, you're submitting 2 things to me: a PDF of this page of the HyperDoc completed, and then a media recording, okay, of your Common Craft video. All right. So again, with the Common Craft video, you're going to use your step 12 argumentation writing, your argumentative writing, to help you to create the Common Craft video. So in the video, you're just relaying your argument, laying out your claim with evidence, but using pictures that you've drawn and a video and sort of a storytelling sort of way, okay, in this Common Craft video. All right, so that is our task. Again, it's not due for until the end of the week, so if you want to get started as soon as possible, please do. Please remember you are submitting to me 2 things: the media recording of your Common Craft style video and the PDF of your document. Those are the 2 things that you are going to be submitting to me, okay? If you have any questions, please be sure to ask. Obviously, one of the first things I'm going to ask is if you watched this tutorial. So please make sure if you skipped any parts, you go back and watch it again, just to be sure that everything is understandable. All right, good luck.